Hello, how's it going? Today is going to be a fun one. A couple months ago, I shot a set with a super talented artist called mredrollo. I met Ed at the end of 2020 during a shoot that I did as part of one of my internships, and from then on we've been on a couple shoots together and it's always been super fun. Also, I'll leave his YouTube and Spotify links in the description below, so definitely go check him out. Give him a follow, give him a listen, subscribe to his channel, go check him out. So in June earlier this year, Ed texted me to see if I'd be interested in shooting a live performance of one of his sets. And of course I said yes because it sounded dope and Ed's music is amazing, so why not? So after that, he started thinking of locations and eventually found this place called the Annex, which looks incredible. It's a dark warehouse type area with a couple pillars going down the center, and with him in the middle of those two pillars, it looks so good. The next thing to think about was lighting. So we had an Aperture 300D with a center reflector. We had two RGB LED panels, another strip light, and a couple like little small lights that we placed here and there, as well as a smoke machine that we just kept pumping smoke out to create some atmosphere. We also knew from the beginning we'd be okay with having the lights in frame. Gives us that raw feel to the video, which we both really liked. So with these lights, the important thing to think about was how best we can use them. Where would we place them in the set to figure out the best lighting setup for this scenario? So firstly, I decided to place the strongest light, our main light, the Aperture 300D, behind Ed, and I put the standard reflector on it as opposed to the light dome, just to create a really harsh light as a backlight to try and create something cinematic. And generally when you backlight something, you're going to create a more cinematic image. This is because usually a cinematic image can be considered as something that has a lot of depth to it, and if you think about it, when you put a backlight into it, it just creates that extra layer of depth. Especially in this scenario where the background is quite dark, you definitely need to create some sort of depth to separate the subject off of the background. The light's color temperature was at 5500 Kelvin, which is also what I set my white balance to, and that helped me figure out the color of the next light that I was going to set up. So the next light was those RGB panels. So I placed the two RGB panels in front of Ed, just to the side, and set these to orange. And as I mentioned before, because the main light was at 5500 Kelvin, which matches our white balance, it kind of creates a nice color contrast between the orange and the main like white balanced light, which in this scenario kind of turns out to look a little bit blue just because it contrasts with the orange quite nicely. This also makes it look good because blue and orange are naturally complementary colors, and that just like helps elevate the visuals of this entire set just with the lighting. I also added in one more strip light and set it to orange as well, just to add a little bit more color onto the side of Ed. Then we started. We filmed the entire 1 hour and a bit set. I put my Sony a7 III on a gimbal and just walked around for the entire hour. We had a second Sony a7 III set up, which I would walk around to and just check that it was still recording, because as you know, after 20 minutes, usually the a7 IIIs will stop. So I just had to like go back around, stop it, and start it again just to make sure it kept ticking over and kept rolling the entire time. We also had a GoPro just above Ed, capturing the top-down view of his setup. So I mostly kept the camera in autofocus the entire time, and it did a really good job of being my focus puller. However, sometimes I would change to manual focus if I knew I was staying within a certain distance away from the action for a while, so I would just switch over to manual just so it wouldn't mess up. And then I would go back to autofocus if I was moving away or closer to the action. Now I feel like there isn't too much else technically I can talk about, because I feel like this shoot wasn't about any equipment in particular or any sort of camera settings that I used. The feeling I got when I was walking around with my gimbal was kind of a unique one as a filmmaker, and it felt more musical rather than filmy, if that makes sense. I've tried playing a couple instruments before. I've tried the guitar, I've tried the piano, but I've never been any good. And I remember going to school, watching shows of my friends who were really good at performing and thinking like, damn, I kind of want to feel what they're feeling while they're performing on stage. I want that feeling that I thought my friends were feeling. You know that feeling when you watch your favorite band play live for the first time, or you watch Bohemian Rhapsody and you just like finish and you see Freddie Mercury like singing in front of everyone at Live Aid. Like that sort of feeling. But I feel like this is as close as I've gotten to feeling what I'm talking about. Even though I wasn't playing any of the music, I kind of felt like I was playing along with my camera, as if like the camera on the gimbal was its own instrument, in the sense that after all the settings were set and after all the lighting was locked in, it was pretty much just like intuition and feeling where I should be, basing my camera movements off what I was hearing, kind of planning in my head and then replanning based off of the music that was playing. It was just like, it just felt more musical than filmy. And because of that, the 1 hour just flew by so quickly. One of the coolest parts was when Jonny, another super talented musician, came in with his guitar solo. I'll leave his Instagram information in the description below as well. But with the music, the lighting, the two of them performing together, it just looked so good. So that's the story behind this shoot. One of my favorite ever shoots that I've done, one of the most fun shoots that I've ever been on, and such an amazing set by Mredrollo. Congrats, Ed, on putting this all together. It was amazing. Thanks for watching, and thanks for putting up with my raspy voice. I'm a little bit sick at the moment, but I should be cured soon. Anyways, appreciate you. Please drop a like if you liked the video. Comment as well. Go check out Ed, go check out Jonny. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe. Bye. See you later.